What's going on, guys? This is the Going for Two podcast with Janssen and Hunter, episode 4, the final preseason recording we have to do because college football is coming back tomorrow. It's like Christmas morning all over again.
It's Christmas
Jansen,
Eve, baby.
yeah,
It's
today's
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. The long wait is finally over. Jance, how we doing this on this fine evening, sir?
Doing great, man. I'm pumped for college football starting tomorrow. Like just like you said, it's like a kid waking up on Christmas morning. Like Christmas, it literally feels like Christmas Eve, man.
Yeah, oh
249
yeah.
days or however long it's been has been way too long, and I've been waiting for this moment. So let's get
Oh
ready.
yeah. It's been a long off season for sure, but I'm very excited for tomorrow.
Me
We got a
too.
lot. We're jam packed tonight. Let's get into it, man. Let's
Yeah,
just
let's
hop
dive
right
right
on
in.
into it.
Let's dive right in. So if you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel where you're probably watching this from. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment for us, either good or bad. We'll take anything. Anything that you think we could do better, let us know. And then let us know what you think of our predictions. Let us know if you're on the same side as us. Let us know if you're fading our prediction, just anything. And then on Twitter, give us a follow at going_for2. That's where we drop all of our new episodes and post most of our announcements. And once college football gets started, we'll probably be more active on there talking about football games and things like that that we are on that week. So,
Yes.
all right,
All right, man.
let's dive
I'm
right in.
excited. Let's get on into it. I'll go first. I'll start off with the Oregon. So we're doing Pac-12. Probably should have said this a few minutes ago, but Pac-12, Big 12, and college football playoff predictions all in this episode. Um, So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna dive right into the Oregon Ducks. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the Pac-12 North because I mean this team is or this whole division is very, very, very mediocre.
Yeah,
Um, and I do think there is a huge talent gap. I see that you have 3 teams going 9-3, which is bold, but I think there's a huge talent gap between Oregon and everybody else in this division.
yeah,
Um, Obviously, first year head coach Dan Lanning, former defensive coordinator under Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia. Lots of great defenses under Dan Lanning, learned under a great defensive mind. I think Oregon needed defense, especially with those West Coast offenses that are being run by like USC now with Lincoln Riley over there. But the Ducks, they also got transfer quarterback Bo Nix from Auburn. Um, Obviously, I think he's a little overrated. He obviously is not tired of playing Georgia. This is year 4 of him as a starter playing Georgia, just this time in green and white, not navy and orange.
yeah.
I think they're going to be good, but I think they have a very tough opening game for a new quarterback and a new coach. Their first game essentially being on the road at UGA, um, technically in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. That's a tough, tough game to start your head coaching career off of. Um, but I do think the Ducks will, prevail throughout the season and definitely improve. And I think this is actually a really good starting roster to have as a head coach, as a first year head coach. I think he will do just fine recruiting as well. Um, I'll go ahead and tell you their 3 losses I got coming against Georgia in week 1. Um, I also have them losing on the road at UCLA uh, about halfway or 3 quarters into the season. I feel like it's a easy drop spot for Oregon. And then I also have them losing last week of the season to Oregon State at Oregon State uh, in the Civil War. I don't care what people say. That game will always be known as the Civil War to
Yeah.
me. But yeah, I think they're going to be a really good team. I think Bo Nix, if he can make smarter decisions with the football and still utilize his legs, they'll be good. But I think 9-3 is a pretty good spot to have them at.
I think it is too. I think it's very generous of you. Because to me, I don't really think Oregon has really proved anything. Last year, they did not prove that they were the real. Like for most of the season, they looked like the real deal, and then they had those losses. How they lost to Utah? How many times in?
They lost to Utah twice in 4 weeks.
There you go. And that's my thing is like, yeah, I think Oregon has a shot at being one of the best teams in the Pac-12 in the Pac-12, but I don't know, man. Like they haven't proved that they can beat Utah. So that's my only thing I have to say about them. But the team that I want to talk about is everybody's probably looking at this graphic and they're probably thinking, "Oh my God, Jansen's crazy because he has Washington going 9-3." But I mean, I'm okay with y'all thinking that because my dog this year that I'm going to be riding with, the dark horse, is going to be Washington. They have DeBoer's coming over from Fresno State. Michael Penix Jr. is coming from Indiana, and a lot of returning players on defense and offense, including linebacker Alfonso Tupatala, who
Yeah,
led
definitely
the
from Hawaii.
who led the team in tackles, and he's nasty. He's a
Yeah,
dog. Like
yeah.
I don't have much to say about him, but I think he'll be a great leader for that defense, and I think that Kalen DeBoer, new head coach, is going to give him a shot this year, and they're going to go on a sneaky little run, and it's going
Yeah, I
to
mean,
shock a lot of people.
yeah. Washington definitely. Um, that was a really good, not recruiting, but head coaching hire that they had because Fresno State's been known to be a Mountain West team to come into some Pac-12 environments and win some games. He's won everywhere he's went. Um, Michael Penix Jr., if he could stay healthy, we saw what he could do during the COVID year in 2020 with Indiana. But I obviously have him going 6-6, and I just think new head coach and just talent wise, obviously they have a lot of returning starters, like you
Yeah,
said, but I don't know. I'm just not too high on the Huskies this season.
I get that. I get that. But I mean, I'm not sleeping on them because I genuinely do think that they could be one of the best teams in the North this year, for sure. Like I mean, I have a three-way tie for first place, but I think Oregon does win that division because they lose to Georgia, BYU, and Utah, which are not because so here I'm just gonna list off who the losses I have for Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington. So Oregon, I have them losing week 1 to Georgia. Then I have them losing to BYU in an upset game, and then I have them losing to Utah. Like I said, like they haven't proved that they can beat Utah, and I don't think this year is the year that they beat Utah. And then I have Washington losing to Michigan State, Oregon, and then Oregon State, the two teams above them. So those are my predictions, and I mean, I think I don't I get the whole Kentucky thing was crazy, was a crazy prediction, but I think this prediction is probably my
Yeah.
most confident one.
Okay. I mean, I could definitely see them going 9-3. I don't see them going. Well, I don't even know if I can see them going 9-3 to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
But hey, I'm here for it. I mean, I'm here for some bold predictions, and we'll see mine the later we get into this video. Um, but I think 9-3 is absolutely the best that they could do, and I think
yeah,
that
I
that's
think it's
going
the
to be
ceiling
some
for him
very
for sure.
very close wins. But I think the ceiling or the floor for them is probably 5-7. That they could
Yeah,
fall off. Um, but I mean, for Oregon, I'll get back into them because I also have this written down. I think this Oregon team could possibly go 11-1. Seriously, like I mean, they can find some ways. I think that is their absolute max ceiling, kind of like
yeah,
Washington's is 9-3. But I could also see them going 8-4, and Dan Lanning struggling a little bit year one.
yeah.
But I think that's why I think 9-3 is a really good spot for them. Um, year one for Dan Lanning. I think that's actually considered a successful season, if you ask me.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think it is too. But I mean, I don't really know what like Washington could finish 7-5. Like would, I can see that happening, but I do think that they go 7-2 in conference, only losing to Oregon State and Oregon. So
Yeah.
yeah. So you want to jump into the South?
Yeah, let's get right
Yeah.
on into it,
All right.
man.
Sounds good.
All right. So, if for, people who may not know this, I knew this, but I kind of forgot about it. The Pac-12 this year, yes, they do have divisions, but they are actually taking the two top teams with the best conference records to play in the Pac-12 championship. So that's why we have Utah and USC highlighted. Even though they both play in the South, we think those are the best two teams in the conference, so that they will meet in the conference championship game. So just like the Big 12, where the best two teams with the best two conference records play each other, Pac-12 is doing this year, except they are still in divisions.
Yeah.
So anybody that was curious on why we had Utah and USC highlighted, those are the reasons why. So Pac-12 South. I know I talked about this a little bit last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago. I did bring up Utah, and I talked about how this is the best chance that they will have at making a college football playoff for probably a foreseeable future. They're in a really good spot. They have all their talent coming back. And last year, we saw the same Utah team that will be taking the field this year give Ohio State a run for their money. If their defense could have just held up, now I know that's a tall task to ask for anybody that is playing Ohio State.
Yeah.
But if their defense would have held up, they would have been the Rose Bowl champions. But their ceiling is so high, and Kyle Whittingham, their head coach, does an amazing job of getting talent out of them. He doesn't always bring in the best recruiting classes because, I mean, it is Utah and it's not an SEC team, or it's not like a brand name like Texas, Oklahoma, USC. But like what he's been able to do and develop that roster is just special. And I think this team's going to be clicking on all cylinders as long as quarterback Cam Rising stays healthy. Last year threw for 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Very young. He's either going to be a sophomore or junior this year. I can't remember. I believe a sophomore. Kid's legit. Good leader. Got a good running game. Got a good passing game. They're just very, very complete, and that's why I have them with the best record in the Pac-12. I think they're gonna. Well, I'll get into that in a second. I think their ceiling. I think they could easily run the table and go 12-0. But I also could see them. Last year Utah started off 1-2 to start this season, and I could see them, slipping up a few times or having a slow start or a terrible finish and going about 9-3 or 8-4. But I think 11-1 is perfect for them. I think they're going to be a very special team.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that happening. Like I was so torn between Utah and USC when I had to pick who I thought was going to win the South, or who I thought was going to win the South. But when it really came down to it, I really thought about it, and the only loss that I'm giving Utah is to USC, and that's why USC is number
I
one in
got
the
you.
conference. Yeah.
But see, the thing is like it really doesn't matter. If
No.
they both do like that, then they both get to play in the title game. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought up the loss. And it's ironic that just a second ago you said Oregon hasn't proved that they can beat Utah. That's the one loss I have Utah taking is in Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. I do have them losing that game on the road to Oregon, but that is the only one. And honestly, game could be the USC. That game could be the UCLA, or they could, like I said, they can run the table. But when I went through, I just, it's towards the end of the year. They're on a hot streak. Oregon's going to be hungry. So I do have them. I think that game makes the most sense for them to lose.
Yeah. I mean, and Oregon could beat them. But they just haven't proved to me that they can. Like, that's my thing is I'm not gonna give Oregon a win that I don't think that they can win, because I know Dan Lanning's coming in, and I know Bo Nix is there, and I know they have a bunch of other transfers that have came over from different schools, but I don't know, man. This Utah team, like you said, Utah has a very, very, very high ceiling, and I think they could go 12-0. But I think they beat Oregon, but my thing is they don't beat USC, and then USC does not beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame beats USC this year.
Okay.
That's my one loss for USC.
I got you. For USC, obviously, they got Lincoln Riley, the biggest hire probably maybe of the decade. I mean, this man has done nothing but win games at Oklahoma, known for Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, putting up 50, 60 points a game, first-round draft picks, especially offensively. What he's not known for, actually what he is known for, is terrible defenses, not being very involved with the defense. And I think with lack of offensive line and, not I know defenses aren't necessarily the best in the Pac-12, which is kind of fitting for them. I still don't think they're going to be too talented on that aspect either, but I think they're going to be good enough. And I think the offense with Jordan Addison, who we read off his stats last year, or last episode, I should say, from uh, the
He
previous
had
season with Pitt,
an
that he had.
astounding year last year.
Yeah, I mean, he won the Biletnikoff Award,
Yeah,
which is best receiver in the nation. 100 receptions, 6,700 yards, 20 something or 30 something touchdown. I mean, the kid just was insane.
he went
Um,
off. He was balling.
and
Yeah,
pairing that with Caleb Williams, I think is going to be special. But
I think
Caleb
so too.
Williams is still young. It's still a brand new team, and like I said, the offensive line's a little sketchy, defense a little sketchy. They do also get I think his name's Travis Dye from Oregon, the running
Yeah,
back
it
from
does.
last year. He transferred in, and he's going to be the running back for USC this year. Great pickup, even though I know Oklahoma and USC, I should say Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley were not known for running the ball a whole lot, but when they did, it was keeping the defense honest, and it worked out sometimes. So I think it'll kind of be the same thing here at USC. Um, I do have them losing.
They're gonna be running a West Coast offense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I do have them losing to Utah in the regular season, and I also have them losing. I think it's going to be a look ahead spot because I do have them beating Notre Dame, but I think they're going to be focused too much on Notre Dame and lose to in-state rival 20 minutes down the road, UCLA. Um, I think Dorian Thompson Robinson at UCLA and Chip Kelly, they keep getting better and better, but until they recruit a little bit better and get over that hump. I think 8-4 is a good spot for them. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I do think
yeah.
they can give that USC defense some fits.
I mean, I think they can too. But I don't know, man. Like that Dorian kid hasn't sold me yet. He had a mediocre season last year. Like I just he played some games like he was a Heisman, and then he played some games like he was the worst quarterback in college football. And it was like, make up your mind. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
So I just
there's
like he
always those
doesn't
few
sell me. So
players
I think
every
they could
year.
go 8-4, just like you said.
Yeah, but I think he's still good, and I mean, obviously USC could win that game, but I do think 2 or 3 losses is, once again, a good year, and I think that's probably the best fitting way to see them go. I mean,
Yeah,
they could go 12-0. I mean, they could not skip a beat, and they could, win close games and blow out teams or whatnot and go 12-0. But I mean, there's also a scenario where I could definitely see them going 8-4, 9-3. So I
yeah,
think 10-2 or 11-1 even is a nice and a realistic prediction for USC this year.
yeah. I think so
So
too. All right. I think that
yeah,
concludes the Pac-12 for us. So,
well, let's get into the title game.
all right.
So we both have USC and Utah, like you saw on the last slide. We both have them playing each other in the championship game, which is actually played in the Raider Stadium in Las Vegas now. Um, and I think Utah does exactly what they did last year. They beat Oregon twice in 4 weeks. I know they play USC, during the season. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember off the top of my head where in
It's
the
towards
season.
like the middle of the season they play each other.
Yeah, but I got
Closer
them
to the
beating them
end, I think.
twice. I got the Utes bringing home back-to-back Pac-12 titles, finishing the year 11-1 and then 12-1 after conference championship week. Um, we already dove into both teams, so I don't think there's. And honestly, this game could go either way. Uh, and heck, for all we know, they might not. Neither one of them could make it. So
Yeah. And here's my thing about Utah and USC that I want to say is if Utah beats USC this year in the regular season, USC and if they play each other in the Pac-12 championship, USC is going to win. If Utah beats USC in the regular season and then they play each other in the Pac-12 championship, then I think Utah wins. Like, you know what I
oh,
mean?
so you
Does that
think
make sense?
you think both teams are going to go one and
Yeah.
one?
Like I think they'll
Somebody's winning the first one, but then the other team's winning the other
yeah.
one,
Cuz
which most definitely could happen.
I don't think it's going to be I don't think USC is going to have like go pull an Oregon this year.
Hey,
But I mean
nobody
it can
said Oregon
happen.
was going to pull
It
an
can
Oregon.
happen.
Nobody thought Oregon was going to pull an Oregon.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, all right, Oregon will come out, Pac-12 championship and win. But
But
no,
no,
they got
Utah
it.
beat them.
The thing was like the first game they played, it wasn't even close. So I was like, all right, well, this one, it'll be close. And I thought Oregon was probably going to inch it out. The second game was not close either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kyle Whittingham's going to do what he does best, and that's going to be win, develop players. And, I mean, obviously, injuries are a part of football and
They just
sports in
gotta stay
general.
healthy, and if they stay
So,
healthy, then I
yeah,
think yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Well,
All
now
right.
we got to roll right into the Big 12.
All right. Let's get in.
All right.
You can go ahead and
So,
start with
yeah,
yours, and then I'll go
for
into
sure.
mine.
Yeah. So, the Big 12 does not have any division, so it's just 10 teams, and it's all based off record. Every team plays everybody in their division or in their conference, and then the best two teams with the best records go play each other in the Big 12 championship game. And this is probably the conference I'm most excited to watch as far as competitiveness goes. Because I think a lot of these teams are evenly matched, especially 1 through 5. Kansas State is my sleeper to possibly make the title game. Uh, then you got Texas, who had all that, recruiting and, well, just their brand name being Texas.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State last year made the Big 12 championship game, was literally less than an inch away from making the college football playoff, probably. Um, and then you got Oklahoma, new head coach, new quarterback, new systems, very defensive, or trying to get more focused on defense. And then you got Baylor, and then you also got teams like West Virginia and Iowa State and TCU, which I might be a little low on TCU, but they could pull off a few upsets this year. Wouldn't be surprised by that. They also got a new head coach, but even 6, 7, 8, those are definitely teams that are not bad and that you should probably watch out for some upset spots.
I think so.
So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
because I mean, there's always that one team every year that's like the underdog that's beating these big name teams that should not be happening.
yeah, for
And I
sure.
mean, I can see TCU doing it. I can see West Virginia doing it. But if I had to pick out of your 6 through 8, I think it'd have to be Iowa State
Yeah, I
for sure.
mean, for sure. I actually do have Iowa State with an upset win, and we'll talk about it right now. But first, I'm going to talk about Oklahoma State. Actually, I'm going to do a quick dive into Texas because we always talk about Texas. By the way, horns down until you beat Kansas. I'm not flipping them back up like this until you beat Kansas. Yeah, so they're going to stay down. Um, I think 8-4, 9-3 is the most realistic prediction. Honestly, I was really high on Texas, and then this whole fall camp stuff started coming out about Quinn Ewers. Not confident in the guy, might start Hudson Card, offensive lineman getting injured, having to start, multiple true freshman offensive linemen. Start or your second best receivers out for the season, and we all know Big 12 defenses are already bad. So 8-4, I think, is probably the best I can do for Texas right now. I look at their losses. I have them losing to Alabama. I have them losing to Oklahoma. I have them losing to Baylor, and I have them losing to Oklahoma State. And the only reason I think Oklahoma State and Texas is going to be a really good game, but I think since it's in Stillwater, uh, I think Oklahoma State gets the win.
Yeah.
So I'll just jump right into Oklahoma State while we're on the topic. Mike Gundy, mullet man, love him, great coach. He's been there forever, feels like. They do return starting quarterback Spencer Sanders. He's very, very mid, if not below average. They do lose defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, who, he had the Oklahoma State defense last year with the best defense in the Pac-12, or not the Pac-12, the Big
Big
12
12. Yeah.
last year. And losing him, I think, is going to be huge. They did come in and get Derek Mason, who is the former Vanderbilt head coach. He was defensive coordinator at Auburn last year. He's now the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, which I think is a good hire, especially, being around the SEC for so long. But, Jim Knowles is very, very highly touted at the defensive coordinator position. So I don't know if Derek Mason will quite have a defense as good as him, but I do think they will still be good. And I think 9-3 is good for the Cowboys this year.
Yeah.
I have them going 11-1. Or sorry, their ceiling could be 11-1. I have them going 9-3.
I was about to say.
I also could see their floor being 8-4. Um, I have their losses coming against Baylor, Kansas State, and Oklahoma, and or no, I have them beating Texas. Sorry.
But if they were to go 8-4, you'd have Texas.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Uh, yeah, but I think Baylor, Oklahoma, and I think they drop one to Kansas State this year. Because, like I said earlier, I think Kansas State is probably the biggest dark horse to make the Big 12 championship game.
I think so too.
So now I'll go to their cross-state rival, the Oklahoma Sooners. New head coach, new quarterback. We're seeing a lot of this, especially with transfer portal and NIL. Players transfer, and especially big name players. They have new starting quarterback Dylan Gabriel, transferred from UCF. I think he's really good.
Give
He's
General
very,
Booty a
very, very.
chance.
Hey, General Booty coming off the bench. Yes, that is legit somebody's name for people who are not very informed. There, Oklahoma's backup quarterback's name is General Booty. That is his real name. He was a JUCO prospect. He's pretty good, but he's not going to be starting. It's going to be UCF transfer Dylan Gabriel, left-handed gunslinger. I think with Mims on the outside, that's going to be a really good combo because Gabriel's got really good arm strength. And as far as defense goes, obviously Oklahoma known to have one of the worst defenses in all of America. But I think obviously getting the best defensive coordinator in all of college football to be your head coach and somebody who's familiar with the Oklahoma program is a perfect fit for them.
Yep.
And I think he's going to develop that defense, especially as the year goes on, to be better. And I could see this team going 11-1, and I could also see them dropping a few games, going 8-4. I mean, because it is hard having a new quarterback. It is hard getting a new staff in there and trying to build a new culture. But I think Lincoln Riley leaving pissed off a lot of people and a lot of players on that team. And so I would not be surprised if they play with a big chip on their shoulder.
And prove
I have
everybody that they don't need them to be successful.
Yes.
That happening.
I actually have them losing 2 games. So, I mean, it's 1A and 1B for Oklahoma Baylor. But I guess technically I would have to switch Oklahoma and Baylor on this graphic because I only have Oklahoma losing 1 conference game and I got Baylor losing 2.
Wow. So you have Oklahoma winning the Big 12?
I have Oklahoma winning the Big 12 regular season, yes. The regular season champion.
Regular season, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I technically, as far as overall record goes, they're the same. But for conference record, I would technically have to have them flip, but it doesn't matter because they would play each other in the title game anyways.
Yeah.
But I have Oklahoma coming out week 3, I believe, against Nebraska. I have them losing in Lincoln. I think Nebraska, Scott Frost is literally fighting for his job, and I think Oklahoma's going to need some time to gel. And I don't know. I just have a weird feeling. I think I have I don't know. I got this weird feeling. I think Nebraska faithful is going to show up, and I think Dylan Gabriel might struggle, and I think it's going to take some time to really gel. And then I have them going on a tremendous win streak. Now, I know you have the schedule printed out right in front of you. I want you to tell me what game who does Oklahoma play before they play West Virginia?
I actually do not have for one day. I actually do not have the schedule printed out in front of me, but I can pull it up. Or I can pull it up.
All right.
What was your question?
Who does Oklahoma play before West Virginia?
Before they play West Virginia, they play Baylor.
Exactly. Who does Oklahoma play
Oklahoma State after that. Trap game.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient that there is just a very, very hungry West Virginia team sitting in the middle of the second of the 2 top 3 teams in your conference, just sitting there, and they play on the road at Morgantown. I got Oklahoma losing to the Mountaineers and JT Daniels.
Mountaineers Nation. Let's ride.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the definition of a trap game. You got to play at Baylor, and then you go on the road to West Virginia, and then right after you play Oklahoma State. I got you. I got them dropping it. I don't. There's no way they win all three of those games, and I think they're going to beat the better teams. But I think the one team that is a little bit worse than them, they're going to drop it. I got faith in JT Daniels, even though West Virginia going 7-5. Uh, you can only do so much because it's like JT Daniels and a bunch of rednecks. Yeah, but yeah. So Oklahoma 10-2, a spot in the Big 12 championship game. And at this time, yeah, they okay, 10-2. So I don't have a team from the Big 12 making the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Um, so now just getting to Baylor. Dave Aranda is that dude. I think he would have been just as good of a hire as Lincoln Riley to USC because I know his name was thrown around a lot. He's very, very humble. He's not cocky and he's nothing but strictly business. He has turned that program around from when they went downhill after Art Briles got fired and his whole case that he was dealing with. And Baylor went on, two straight 10-plus loss seasons. Bringing in Dave Aranda, he has turned it around. They won the Big 12 last year, slept on. They had the second worst odds to win the Big 12 last year and came through and won. Um, I'm very high on Baylor again this year. I very defensive team, and which is what you need, just like Oklahoma State last year, which is why I think Oklahoma is going to be something to be reckoned with here in a few years.
Because
Because
Brent Venables is going to turn that team into a
yes,
defense first team. Yes.
yes, and still have really good offense, I
Yeah.
think. And so I think that's what separated Baylor and Oklahoma State last year to make the game is they had the two best defenses in the conference. Um, They have Blake Shapen returning. He came in about halfway or three-quarters of the way into the season last year, replacing Gary Bohannon, who went down with an injury. He's now at USF. Um, but I'm very high on Baylor. I think they could run the table and go 12-0. But I think this conference is just way, way too competitive, and I think there's a lot of evenly matched teams. Like I said, 1 through 5, I think any of those teams could make the Big 12 championship game, and then you still have to look out for 6, 7, and 8, and possibly even 9 at Texas Tech to upset some teams.
Yeah.
I think this Baylor team could possibly go 9-3 just because of the talent level and the competitive balance that the Big 12 has. But I'm very high on them. I do have them dropping a game early on in the season on the road at Iowa State. Like I said, look out for teams like that to just pull a few games out of their rear end. Last year, Oklahoma State traveled on the road to Iowa State and got beat. And that was their one conference loss last year. And I think if they wouldn't have lost that game and still would have lost to Baylor, they possibly could have gotten into the playoff just because of how close that last play was.
Yeah.
I also have Baylor losing to Oklahoma in the regular season. So it's at Norman. Like I said, um, Oklahoma, with that trap game, I think they're going to be very, very focused and prepared to play Baylor and not be prepared to play West Virginia. But I do have Baylor losing to Oklahoma in the regular season. So they do win all their non-coms. They do have 2 conference losses, but that's still good enough to get them into the Big 12 championship game in
Yeah.
Dallas. So
I think so too.
I know I rambled on for a little bit, but I know you got to cover a whole conference at one time. I'll let you go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Actually, all right. So here is my predictions for the Big 12. I am putting my nuts on the table, and I'm saying Texas is back. I've said it so many times that Texas isn't back. They're not back. I don't think they win the Big 12. I don't think they win the Big 12, but I think Texas proves that Quinn Ewers and that Steve and that Coach Steve and Bijan and this defense has to prove something this year. Because last year, this defense was nothing but a huge disappointment. They gave away so many games because their defense is just absolutely trash. I'm gonna list off my losses for them. Wait. I only have the graphics wrong. I have Texas going 10-2 with Baylor. I have them losing to Bama, and I have them losing to Baylor. I'm not worried about Oklahoma this year. I don't care about the Red River rivalry game. Texas gets it done this year. I'm going on a rampage. I'm going out on a limb, putting my nuts on the table, and I'm saying Texas is back, man. Like, I think Quinn Ewers and Bijan Robinson, and like, I get the whole hokey pokey thing with we don't know who's going to be quarterback and blah 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 blah, but I think that was doing something to other schools. That's making them think, oh, Texas is going to be a disaster again. Like blah 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 blah. Like they don't even know their quarterback situation and this and that. And but man, I think Quinn Ewers is going to be the real deal, and I really do have high hopes for him. And if he proves me wrong, I will never speak good about Texas ever again because I've had hope in them before, and when I had hope in them, they just disappointed me. So I've got them going 10-2, losing to Bama week 1 because they're not beating Bama. Let's be realistic here. And then I have them losing to Baylor because I think Baylor is the best team in the Big 12. I think that their defense is absolutely astounding, and like I think that there's no team in the Big 12 that could beat them other than like I know Oklahoma State. Like I think Oklahoma State's really good, but I don't think they have the same year as they did last year. So I got OSU losing to OU. I have them losing to UT, and then my upset game of the year is Iowa State will beat Oklahoma State. And then I'll go down to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I have them going 8-4, losing to UT, Nebraska, Baylor, and then I have them losing to TCU. I think TCU this year is just going to be like West Virginia and Iowa State, where they could be sleepers and not like beat teams that they have no business beating. And same with Kansas State. Like Kansas State, I have them oddly at 5. I couldn't believe I had them at 5, but I do. And ahead of Iowa State because I'm high on Iowa State. Like I think Iowa State could be the real deal, but I don't know. I think Kansas State will just be better than they are. And I mean, you covered really everything about the Big 12, but all I gotta say is don't sleep on Texas this year.
I'm sleeping on them until they prove me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I get why you are. Like that's perfectly understandable, but
Hey,
I mean,
just know
I
that.
had a bold prediction with Kentucky. I got a bold prediction with Texas too.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna go ahead and tell you right now. I've been in your shoes. Last year, I was all in on the North Carolina Tar Heels to go in there and win the ACC, or
and they
possibly
didn't.
dethrone Clemson. And Sam Howell was going to win the Heisman. He was going to be the savior of some poor NFL franchise, and they didn't even have a winning record.
No, no.
And
But
so,
if you think this prediction's bold, just wait till the one I give you at the end of the episode.
oh, there might be some I don't know about.
No, you
I
don't know
didn't get to
about it.
see. I didn't see your playoff, and I didn't see. I haven't looked at any of your stuff, so
Yeah,
this should be interesting. But
we shall see.
can
But
I do have a question?
what's up?
Oklahoma 8-4. How come?
Oklahoma 8-4. I have them losing to UT. I think UT beats them this year in the
Which could
River
definitely
rivalry
happen.
game. Yeah, and for the first
Dude,
time
just call it the
since
Red River Shootout.
the
Just call it the
shootout.
Red
Yeah,
River. Yeah,
and for the first time since Sam Ellinger was there. So I think that they
yeah.
beat them this year because, like I said, I think OU could be really good this year, but I don't know. I'm just not trust Brent Venables first year there. Like I don't really like the feeling of that. Like I get Steve's first year at Texas was last year, and you saw how that went, and I think same could go for Brent at OU. So we shall see. We shall see. But
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely could happen.
yeah. But I really hope Texas doesn't prove me wrong. But hey, man, if they do, it's horns down for life, man.
Hey, I'm just glad you have their horns down too. I wasn't the only one who thought of that
Yeah, don't you.
until they beat Kansas.
The only reason I have horns down is because they beat Georgia in that bowl game 1 year,
Oh,
and that's the
gotcha.
only reason.
I'm not flipping them back up until they actually prove that they're worth their brand name.
If they prove to me that they're the real deal this year and make the Big 12 championship like I have them doing,
Yeah.
I'll flip him up.
All right.
But
All
from then
right.
on forward, I'm not.
I got you.
Let's get into our championship game.
It's funny looking at them down upside
Yeah.
down in that one too. Um. All right. Well, we obviously have both got Baylor running the table. They are going. I think they're going to do exactly what they did last year.
Think that's
They
what's
they
happening.
might drop one or two in the regular season, but when it comes down to it, and big games on the line, Dave Aranda performs as a coach and he gets his players ready. I also had Baylor losing to Oklahoma in Norman during the regular season, so I think they come into Dallas and they get it done this year. Not a whole lot more to say. I mean, we already covered both Baylor and Oklahoma, but Baylor definitely going to probably play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So if I had a postseason
Again.
prediction, yeah, if I had a
Yeah.
postseason prediction for Baylor, it'd probably be a 10-2 Baylor team going to excuse me, going to the Sugar Bowl to play a 10-2 SEC runner-up in Georgia.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's happened before. I can see it happen again. So,
yeah,
but like I said, man, like, I mean, you see it. Horns are still down. I'm not flipping them up. But if they make it this year, I'll flip them up. But until then, I'm not. Like I said. But here's my thing about Texas that I want to add is if Quinn steps up and he's the real deal, I really do think that they have a shot at winning the Big 12.
I mean, yeah, they could,
And
I just
their
don't think it
and if their
happens yet.
and if their defense doesn't turn into a dumpster fire like they did last year, then I think they do have a shot. But like,
They could have made the Big 12 championship game last year. They had 5 or 6 games, which would have put them in a position at the top of the Big 12 last year
if they had
versus what
tucked
Oklahoma
away and
doing
then the
here.
defense
They
sold
had
out.
it tucked away. They had 2 possession leads going into halftime, and then they just would crumble. It's not, and the thing is, it's not just the defense. The
Yeah.
offense would not be on the same tempo and the same level that they were in the first half. Um, but if Quinn Ewers can perform, there's no doubt in my mind that Texas could be good. Um, Here's my one thing, and this is going to be a bold take, maybe, but I hope you can see where I'm coming from. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be DJ Uyongalele from last year,
Okay. I can see that.
and here's the reason why. So they're going to trot him out there against. They play Louisiana Monroe week 1. He's going to go out there, and he's not going. This is his first live action he's seen since 2020 or 2019 because he skipped his last year of high school and he was at Ohio State last year. And I don't know if he even played football during the COVID year at his high school. During his I guess not because he was at
Yeah.
Ohio State. So
Yeah.
it's been a while since he's been in a game. And the transition and the speed of play from high school to college is unbelievable. I know he's been getting a big taste of that in practice. And I think, playing Louisiana Monroe first game is going to be good. But I think all of his confidence and he is going to go down because the next week Bama's coming to town and Will Anderson and Dallas Turner are coming off the edges. He's going to
You
be
just got
traumatized.
Jordan
And I think
Battle
he's going to be just like
running around
DJ
out
from
there.
last year.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions because they will be throwing the ball a lot more. Big 12 offenses play a
Yeah.
lot different than ACC offenses. But I think it's going to be very, very similar. I think he's going to be very, very underperformed. And I'm not saying he won't be able to ever turn it around, but I just think not playing in a long time and then having to face Alabama, which a scary, scary defense in week 2 is just going to be very, very bad for him, and
Yeah.
so that's why I'm not that high on Texas. I still think they can win 8. They can still go 8-4, and that's he will build more confidence. But I would not be surprised if he's like DJ Uiagalelei from last year.
Yeah. And I
So,
mean, this is what I have to say about Quinn is, yeah, I mean, he's going to play Bama week 2. He's going to get a taste of college football. Will Anderson's going to put Will, or not even just Will. It could be anybody on that defense. Just put a lick on him and basically tell him, welcome to college.
yeah,
This is how it's going to be. Get used to it. And he can
yeah,
either take that, get up, and play his butt off, or he can lay on the ground and let it get to his head and then not. I mean, it's really just it's really just on him at this point. Like
yeah.
the whole
He's got
Texas
talent around him.
being a good team and being a god awful team is based on Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
He has so much pressure on him that I mean I could see him busting for
I
sure.
think. I think that excuse me.
You're good.
I think that Texas Alabama's game is going to be Georgia Clemson from last year 2.0, except
Yeah.
the score is not going to be that close. I think Alabama's going to beat them by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be the same kind of result as far as offense defense goes. Clemson's offense could not get anything going, and I think that Alabama defense is going to just swarm and swarm, especially now that they have 2 or 3 offensive linemen out, and you're going to have to start 1 or 2 true freshmen right out of the gate. I don't think that's going to be a very, very good game for the
Yeah.
whole
Especially, yeah.
school as a whole. Like, I think it's just going to be bad. But
Yeah. I think so too.
yeah. But
Uh,
hey, I could definitely see them turning it around and, like you said, possibly win the Big 12. But I don't think this is the year. But I do think they'll beat Kansas. So I'll
yeah.
flip the horns back up whenever they decide to beat Kansas.
Yeah. You're letting them off easy. I'm not letting them off that easy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the. So this is who we have for our conference champions. Hunter, you want to go through yours and just.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So now that we have gone through the Power 5 conferences, this is what we have came up with. I have Miami finishing 11-1 with 1 loss to Texas A&M, beating Clemson twice in the once in the regular season and once in the ACC championship game as the ACC champion. I have Ohio State going 12-0, perfect season, winning the Big 10. I have Baylor, like we just said, 10-2, winning in the Big 12. I got Utah going 11-1, finishing as Pac-12 champions, and then I have the Alabama Crimson Tide going 11-1, probably more realistic, 12-0, and winning the SEC. So you can go right on into yours whenever you're ready.
Are we back? You
Yeah,
there?
you're back. You froze on me for a second.
No, we lost connection for a sec, but we're back.
Oh, I
We're
think
good.
I think we've stayed live though, so I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay. All right.
But
So I just ran through my Power 5. I don't know if you heard anything I said, but you're
no,
good to go whenever you
I
are.
heard everything you said up and like, yeah, I heard everything you said.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can go ahead and get into yours real quick.
But I mean, I have basically all the same as Hunter, except I have USC winning the Pac-12 and I have Clemson winning the ACC. Hunter talked about that Clemson defense, and I think that Clemson defense has a chance at going to the playoff, but I don't think they do it because they have they're gonna sit DJ and they're gonna play Cade. That's the only reason I'm not. Well, you'll see. But that's the only reason I'm not putting them in the playoff is because
Yeah.
they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose two, like what I say, 2 games that they were gonna lose. But
Yeah.
I mean, it can be Miami. I can see it, but that is a very, very, very bold take, and I'm rocking with it because I mean, you see me with Texas and you see me with Kentucky. So
Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. This just my big sleeper.
yeah.
It's gonna continue to be a big sleeper here in about the next second. Whenever you flip the slide, here it
Oh
is.
wow.
Here it is. Well, this is my college football playoff. Number 1 seed, 12-0, Ohio State, Big 10 champions going into the playoff 13-0. They'll be playing in the new sponsored Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Number 2 seed, I got Alabama, 11-1. More realistically, I'll say it again, probably 12-0. SEC champion, playing in the Peach Bowl because they just love to play in Atlanta and win by a lot of points. At the 3 seed, I got Utah. I got the Utes, and I got the Pac-12 making the playoff for the first time since 2016 when the Washington Huskies made it and actually played Alabama in the Peach Bowl and got the brakes beat off of them. I have another Alabama versus Pac-12 team in the Peach Bowl this year. I think this is the year the Utes get it done. I mean, I've said it twice. I'll say it again. The window and the opportunity will not be like this very much longer for them. So I think they're going to capitalize on
I
it.
was
I
gonna say
believe
they
in
better
Kyle
capitalize
Whittingham.
on it.
Yeah. And then, yes, I know. Call me crazy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Throw it up. I got the Miami Hurricanes as the 4 seed, and I was going back and forth on it because I have Michigan going 11-1. I could definitely see the committee. Well, I know that they probably don't want to put two SEC teams in there, but I don't know. I just got this weird feeling about Mario Cristobal and Tyler Van Dyke and the defense developing. And obviously, I this didn't even come about until we did our ACC predictions, and I was just like, I'm really confident in this team. And my confidence is going to be all the way up until they play on January 1st and get the brakes beat off of them by Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
Yeah, but I do have Miami making it. Just a sleeper team, man. We've seen crazy stuff happen. I mean,
Yeah.
that Penn State team almost made it in 2016 when they won the Big Ten. Washington actually got put in over them, like I just talked about. I know that you have two powerhouses, and then you have two, not so powerhouses, but definitely on the rise in college football. Um, Michigan was probably be number 5, and Georgia would be number 6 on here because I have Michigan going 11-1 with one loss to Ohio State, and if Miami loses, if they make it to the ACC title game with either 2 losses, then I think Michigan will get in at the 4 seed, and we'll see this rivalry play out again, which would be awesome.
Especially in the playoff. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. That would be
yeah.
insane. Yeah.
But I have Georgia. This hurt because like they obviously reigning national champions, and I'm obviously, if you've listened to our podcast, I'm a huge Georgia fan. Uh, but I have them losing 2 games, and if we've noticed anything since 2014, whenever this came about, the committee does not, they don't allow 2 loss teams in there. There'd have to be a lot of chaos in the other 4 Power 5 conferences for Georgia to get in. I just don't think this is the year, especially when you're having to rely on an offense and having to replace a lot of holes on defense. And I'm not saying Georgia's not going to be good, and I could definitely see them going 12-0 in the regular season and losing to Alabama again and being in the playoff. But I'm changing it up, and I'm confident. I'm already bought all in. I mean, the graphics up. I got the Hurricanes in there.
I
Uh,
like it.
I mean, I don't
I like
know. I'm just confident. And now after this, I recommend anybody who loves college football. It's on Amazon Prime now. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but I remember my dad and one of my youth football coaches showing me this when I was 8 years old. Way too young to watch this, by the way. But it's called The U. It's a 30 for 30. I highly recommend if you love college football, especially in the early 2000s and, whenever Miami was in its prime. I highly recommend going to watch that. It's a very good documentary. I will definitely be going to watch it tonight before I absolutely go through with this.
Yeah. You put
Anyway,
you put Hunter, you put Hunter and The Rock in a room, and they'll be best friends.
hey, I do love The Rock, man. Uh, anyways, I do have Ohio State advancing. I have Alabama advancing, which I know this is very, very mainstream, but I think it's no secret that Ohio State and Alabama are the 2 best teams in the nation. Ohio State, I think, has the best offense. I think Alabama, top 2 defense, top 2 offense. I don't think Ohio State has the top 2 defense. Therefore, Alabama, talent wise, and Nick Saban, he didn't win the title last year. So let's just go ahead and add another one to the resume real quick and this man just got paid even more. I know we haven't really talked about it. He just got an extension through 2030, and he is now the highest paid coach in all of football. And there's like a statement in there saying if he's not the highest paid coach in all of football, I need to get an extension or a new contract, which he deserves. And I honestly
Yeah.
think the amount of money they're paying him to be the highest paid in the nation is probably still underpaying Nick Saban. Um, this man has, yeah, he's just Nick Saban. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, before he died, they came out with like a Nick Saban robot to roam the sidelines, so that whenever he decides to go see his, whenever he decides to go home to heaven, he's still out there for sure. And
No, but yeah, he's definitely gonna have a big, huge.
yeah,
If he
no, the
doesn't already, I
talent.
haven't never been to Alabama, but if he doesn't have a statue already, he will definitely be having a
Oh,
statue.
he will. Then it'll be called Bryant Denny Saban Stadium. They're definitely going to add his last name
Yeah,
there as
they got
well.
to.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But Alabama, I'll just say it again, like Dallas Turner and Will Anderson is going to be the best pass rush off the edge in the entire nation. Then you have like Jordan Battle and Kool-Aid McKinstry playing in the secondary. I think they're very good. Um, and then you have obviously the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. You have Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a very good running back. Didn't get a lot of spotlight at Georgia Tech because, well, it's Georgia Tech. I'm not going to talk about that trash program. You got like Jermaine Burton on the edge, playing receiver, transfer from Georgia, who I think is going to get a lot more touches and show his potential.
I think so too.
They're the best team in the nation. I'm not going to waste too much more time on it. I got the Alabama Crimson Tide winning the 2023 or 2022-2023 national championship.
Yeah.
Nick Saban takes home another trophy to add to the case. Just one more step closer to 10 rings.
Yeah. All right. So here's my playoff prediction. I have Ohio State going in at the 1. I have them going 12-0. I think they have the best. Y'all heard me talk about it when we talked about their division, but I think Ohio State has the best offense in the nation with Jackson Smith and Ty Henderson in the backfield, and then you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who will win Heisman this year.
Jackson Smith and Jigba's going to win the Heisman.
Sorry.
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. I didn't mean to say Jackson Smith and Jigba, but yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, best wide receiver out of the 3 of Chris Olave, and had the most yards out of all of them. And then you got Alabama, who is, like Hunter said, has the best defense in the nation, if not the best, then the second best. It's close between them and Clemson. And then at the 3, I have USC. First year, Lincoln Riley. He's making the college football playoff, and he's making a statement.
And he's still going to be winless after this year in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that man hasn't done is win a playoff game. He's never won a college football playoff game.
Yeah, that streak's going to stay alive because he's not beating Bama.
No.
And then I have Baylor in at the 4. I think that they win the Big 12, and I think they finally get into a bowl game. The playoff. And then I have Alabama and Ohio State playing each other. I'm sorry, I know how good this Alabama defense is, but I just don't see, because basically that defense is the same defense that played Georgia last year. And I just don't see them stopping Ohio State. Because that Ohio State team is light years better than last year's Georgia offense was.
Yeah, but the only thing,
the real reason why Georgia won the national championship is because of their defense. They only held them to 13 points, and it was that's what they got to do. But I know Ohio State's not going to hold them to 13 points, so it is going to be an offensive battle. But I do think that Ohio State pulls it out. And if Bama pulls it out, here's my bold take for you. If Alabama goes 12-0, has a better season than the 2020 season that they had, Saban retires.
Whoa.
Bryce Young goes back-to-back, wins another Heisman. They have the best season he has ever had in an Alabama team. And they win the national championship going 14-0.
15-0.
I think he retires.
Yeah.
But that's a bold take. Don't I like throwing that out there just because it's fun, but I'm not am I gonna stand by it? If it happens, I will be the first person to tell you I told you so. But and if it doesn't happen, then
it don't happen.
It don't happen. And then
Yeah.
But if he retires, I will be a happy man because I'm so tired of this Alabama dynasty. So tired of it. And I know everyone else is too. But we're watching history right before our eyes. So it's fun to watch, but it's also not fun to watch because they win everything, and nobody liked the Patriots when Tom Brady was winning every Super Bowl when he was there. So
yeah. Well, I'll add this to your Nick Saban take.
I know he's got that big contract and everything.
No. I don't think he's going to finish out the contract. I don't think he'll coach till 2030. But I think if he wins this year, and would this be the 2022? I think he's going to try and get to 10. I think if it's this year, it's 7 or 8 titles for him. I think it's 6 at Alabama, 7 It'd be 7 at Alabama, 8 total, I
Yeah.
believe, because he has that one at LSU. I would not be surprised if he tried to win 10, but his legacy's already set. He's already the most
He has
national
nothing else to prove.
titles. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I mean, I could see it. I don't think he's gonna retire because I mean, he saw what happened to Joe Paterno. Like, Joe Paterno quit coaching and for obviously completely other reasons. But when he stopped coaching, he died 2 months later. Like, it happens when you get older. But I don't know what Nick Saban would do if he wasn't coaching, you know? Like, keep making Aflac commercials? I don't know. I think he's gonna be fine. I think he loves doing this, and he loves to recruit, and he loves football, and I don't see him going anywhere until maybe 2027, 2026.
Put
But
him on College Game Day. Lee Corso's going to need a replacement soon.
I don't think Nick Saban has the patience to be on College Game Day
Nah, I
for
don't think he
Mondays
does
every
either, but that'd be
Saturday.
fun to hear his
Yeah,
breakdown. Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, the kind of counterpoint your Ohio State thing, and this just goes back to Nick Saban. If anybody is gonna know how to beat the Ohio State offense,
It'll
it's
be
gonna
Nick
be
Saban.
Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
So
I wouldn't be. Those two teams are the two teams that have that. I mean, you and I think have the highest chance of winning it. So I mean, think we. I think there's an argument for both teams winning it and then both teams losing it. So,
yep.
but it's all about who you want, and I want Ohio State this year.
All right. Yeah.
I'm
No, for
riding them to
sure.
the finish line, but
All right.
we shall see. All right, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to cover?
Yeah. So let's go over 2 top games tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's close out the PowerPoint. Let's get into the full screen. All right, so tomorrow, it's almost like Christmas came early, like I've already said. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I don't even know if I'll be able to sleep tonight, man. But 2 games that are just interesting to me. I mean, there's a bunch of I know North Carolina plays like Florida A&M and Florida State plays Duquesne, just some FCS opponents. But
Yeah.
there is one Power 5 matchup in Dublin, Ireland, Nebraska versus Northwestern. Last I checked, Nebraska's favored by about 14.5, maybe 15 points now. I'm not exactly sure what the line is, but, who you got?
Who do I got? If
Who
I'm
you
being
got?
honest, all the way in Dublin, you're going all the way to Dublin, Ireland. I'm going to take the points for Northwestern, and I'm going to take the plus 15. I just think that, I mean, if it was in Nebraska, I think I'd take Nebraska minus 15. But
Yeah.
since it's overseas and you're in a whole different environment, I'm going to take the points for Northwestern. What about you?
I'm going to take Nebraska to win the game, and as far as covering points goes, I would feel a lot more comfortable if the line was at 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But now that it's up to 14.5, 15 points, just depending on wherever you're trying to look at, I think taking Northwestern and the points would probably be the best, considering that it is a neutral site game. Right? Well, it's all the way across the globe. It's in Ireland, so yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, it's in Ireland, man. They're going to be jet lagged. They're going to be just not
who
the
knows?
team that they will be for the remainder of the season. That's weird. I don't get why they're playing in Ireland.
Somebody must
Neutral
pay
site,
more
I guess.
money.
Put college
I don't
football
know.
in a different
Yeah,
atmosphere.
trying to expand their target market, I reckon. But I mean, the stadium looks cool. I highly suggest go. I don't know the name of it, but if you look up Nebraska versus Northwestern, it'll tell you the location. I've seen a picture of the stadium. It kind of looks like SoFi Stadium where the Rams and the Chargers play. So
Yeah,
pretty cool. And then the last game, we have SEC football tomorrow. Did you know that?
yes,
Did you
I
know we had
did.
an SEC team playing tomorrow?
The
Even though it might be
Vanderbilt
Vanderbilt,
Commodores.
Vandy coming in hot. First SEC team to play. They're playing Hawaii.
And the first SEC team to lose.
Yes. So Hawaii plays Vanderbilt in Hawaii tomorrow. 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 10:30 or 9:30 for you. Little SEC after dark action. Commodores are favored by 8.5 to 9 points, 7 to 9 points, wherever you're looking at. I'm taking Hawaii +9. I'm hammering it, man. Hawaii +9 tomorrow. I don't think Vandy. There's no way they cover 9 points
No,
tomorrow. I just don't see that happening.
I don't either. I mean, the Rainbow Warriors. This game is played in Hawaii, right?
Yes, it is in
Yeah.
Hawaii.
So out of the last, I think it's 16 games that Hawaii has played on the island, they've
Yeah.
covered the spread.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna go with the wagon of Hawaii and the
The
Rainbow
Rainbow
Warriors,
Warriors,
and
man.
I'm going to the island and I'm taking the Hawaiians, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I really don't know much about the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, but I don't think it can be easy. A team from Nashville who's already not good. I mean, Vanderbilt lost to Eastern Tennessee State, who was an FCS program last year, and it's not even like a highly touted FCS program. So
No,
I don't know. I just got a feeling the Rainbow Warriors will cover 9 and probably end up winning the game. So would not be
I think so
surprised.
too. Maybe
Yep.
sprinkle a little bit on the money line, but
Yeah, just a little bit.
we'll see.
Yep. Well, man, that
All
wraps
right.
up our preseason episodes. We'll try and get out a weekly schedule, at least once a week, to cover the games before and go into the games, the following week with a little bit of predictions and recap from the previous week. But I know you're going out of town a little bit, so
Yep.
we might be a little inconsistent, but we're going to figure it out. But I'm excited to start doing this, and talk about games that have
Me
happened
too.
now.
Me
My
too.
goodness.
I'm ready for football season to start and ready to dive in head first and just enjoy it, man, while it's here. Because in 6 months we're gonna be dog days of summer again. So
Hey, you
enjoy it
know
while it's
what?
here.
We're not going to worry about that. We're going to live in today. It is a great day to
Exactly.
have a great day, and
We're
tomorrow
gonna
is going
live
to
in
be a
the
great day
moment.
to have a great day. That's
Exactly.
right. Yes,
All right, man.
sir. All right. Well, I enjoyed it. Don't
Hey,
forget,
buddy.
leave a like, subscribe,
Leave a
follow us
comment.
on Twitter at going_for2 on Twitter. We always tweet out notifications. I know I'll be running heavy on that tomorrow about talking about Nebraska Northwestern. Um, Yeah, and don't forget, leave us a comment. Even tell me how dumb I am for having Miami in the playoff, but explain why. I mean, I want to
Yeah,
hear it,
I want to
and
hear it too.
but be respectful about it at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
uh, but hey, if you agree with me having Miami in the playoff, tell me why about that too. We love to hear your input, and if you think we can improve the show, tell us how. We are,
Anything.
I mean,
Literally
we're
anything.
new to this, but yeah, but we are very thankful for everybody that decides to give this, you know,
Yes.
podcast a listen and decides to subscribe and leave a comment and all that good jazz. We're very, very, very thankful for you. But I think that'll do it for today,
I
and
think
I'm
so.
very excited for tomorrow and the weeks to come. College football is back.
It's back, baby. Can't
All
wait. All
right.
right. Well, thank you
Well,
guys. Appreciate y'all.
thank y'all. God bless.